When I was about 25, I was working for another paint company, and this whole idea of selling some of the best lacquers or the best wood finishers in the world to the Sri Lankan market was some idea that I toyed with, and it's something that I was the marketing manager of this company. I took it to the managing director of the company, who in turn took it to the board of the company, and said that it might be a good idea because Sri Lanka, this was going back 28 years, Sri Lanka was at that time doing just nitrocellulose lacquers, very basic NC, they call it just sanding sealer and lacquer, which is very basic, to the finishing industry. And I used to handle the industrial market. And when I thought there was a requirement for a better product, what I did was I made a presentation, spoke to some suppliers, international suppliers, and I made this presentation. And this company really looked at it very seriously. But because it was a far more bureaucratic company, with the whole board and that whole system that needed to make a decision, it took more time than I would have liked, and my suppliers would have liked. And this is the reason that because it took so much more time, my suppliers and I thought it might be best that if I had the confidence in the product, to go ahead and do it ourselves. And that's how we started JAT 28 years ago. Any entrepreneur starting a business, particularly somebody at 25 without any backing, it was not like my father was in business or my mother was in business or the family was. So I was, the first person in the family to get into some sort of business. So there is no family history, there is no bank support. You've been an employee up till then. The biggest challenge, obviously, for a young entrepreneur in Sri Lanka, even today, is finance. Who will finance you at a point like that? Then it's about, obviously, learning the loopholes of the business, learning to handle the bureaucracy of the country. We were predominantly in an import business, so when you had to import your product, you have issues from the point of customs to then you have issues with the market. Your competition wants to, obviously when you're small, your competition wants to try to kill you immediately. So the three biggest issues obviously was the finance, the bureaucracy, and then competition. But having said that, the only way to get around that is to believe in yourself and then really push to with all your might and just there's no substitute for hard work. And so it was a 6 in the morning till maybe 11 in the evening kind of job, because I had 2 kids even at that time at 25, so I used to always drop them at school and then start my day from there. Visiting each and every customer myself, handling the suppliers, clearing the stuff from customs. I mean, the whole gamut of it, handled personally, even to the extent of doing the trials with our customers and seeing that the deliveries are done on time. So if you're willing to do that, any entrepreneur willing to do that, there is no reason that you should not succeed, provided you have a product and you have a requirement in the market, and that's what I identified when I put to my board, was there was a serious requirement for a good product, and that's what I offered the market. There isn't one week that goes by without an entrepreneur, some young entrepreneur coming and speaking to me. They understood that, they've understood that I have also started, like a lot of entrepreneurs have, at a young age. So I get a pitch at least once a week, from different entrepreneurs today, asking me to maybe to either guide them or maybe even invest with them in order to help them to start their businesses off. All I look for is in a situation like that is the passion of the guy. If the person who wants to start it has that passion, the same kind of passion that I had when I started my business, and to see whether, like I said before, is there a vacuum in the market? There is no point trying to come and say when there are 10 shops, be the 11th shop on the street. And this is typical of Sri Lankan businesses, where they just be followers. Somebody gets into e-marketing, so everybody gets into e-marketing. Somebody gets into home deliveries, and everybody gets into that. And that is something that I don't support. I support somebody who comes with a genuine idea, who really believes in himself, and if there's a vacuum, I would also support them. And that is what I think an entrepreneur should look at, whether it's with somebody else's support or not, is if you have a good plan, if you show passion to, I think most financial institutions today might even support you. Today, thankfully, the rate of finance is a lot less than it was last year or in the last 5 years. So it doesn't kill you as an entrepreneur too, even if you have to borrow a bit and get into the market. But there's no shortcuts. You got to really do the work yourself. When you're an entrepreneur, it's something that I've learned since I have had the rest of these investors join me, is to focus on your core business. There's something you're good at, try to do that. You try to divest or digress from your business too much, that can affect you. And all of us have done that. All of us have burnt our fingers in so many different ventures. But if you focus on your core business and you really continue with that passion and the kind of work ethic that you had when you started, there's no reason you should not succeed. Today, and if you have the correct business ethics, if you have the corporate governance, there'll be anybody there willing to support you. Your suppliers will give you any amount of credit you want. Your banks will lend to you as much as you want. Today I have all my banks who lend to me at rates I don't think some of the blue chip companies in the country get. We get a Moody's A+, we get a Moody's rating, ICRA rating every year. Again, as a private company, I believe ours is the only private company that has a Moody's A+ rating, stable. A+ stable rating 5 years in a row. That is because the way we manage our company. You have to have a positive mindset. Now, you will have failures again. You'll have numerous failures. You make some bad decisions through the years. That's something you need to live with and learn to accept and not beat yourself up. As long as you're willing to live with this, not live with it, but understand that it's a part of business, and look at correcting it and minimizing the mistakes you make, and be able to sort of correct them and move forward, and there is no issue. In Sri Lanka, we have a community, unfortunately, who believe in mediocrity. It's such a shame. I always tell people in this country, to excel, you don't need to be very much better than the other. So if you want to, just put a bit more effort, you can be a star.